Hey, how's it going? It's Keith Townsend from the CTOadvisor.com. You know, I get to relive my networking roots. We're at VMworld 2019, and fittingly, we have with us from the Velocloud team. So I think the official title, Craig, is VMware SD-WAN by Velocloud.
That's correct.
But more importantly, we have the chief architect, right?
That's right.
Craig Connors. Thanks for joining the program. Velocloud SD-WAN has been a big deal for some time. You know, it's the trick has been to get into the C-suite and displace some of the incumbents. Has been all about cost savings, etc. But we're going to, I think, peel back the onion on that a little bit. Tell me what's the big kind of news coming out of Velocloud SD-WAN VMworld 2019?
Yeah, so here at VMworld 2019, we're talking about how SD-WAN's becoming hyperscale, right? So SD-WAN, it's been a big topic for a while, but now we're really reaching the point where it's becoming almost ubiquitous in the industry. Everybody's talking about it. More than 150,000 sites already deployed on VMware SD-WAN.
So let's talk about this hyperscale story a little bit. So, because you threw me back when you said SD-WAN is hyperscale. I'm like, hyperscalers are using SD-WAN, or so you're saying Velocloud has basically become a hyperscaler because of the 150,000 deployed, 150 sites deployed.
Right.
So help me out with that. 150,000 sites deployed. You know what? Incumbents, Cisco, Juniper, they have millions of sites deployed. What makes Velocloud a hyperscaler versus one of the incumbents?
Right, so SD-WAN's a lot different than traditional routing. So there may be millions of Cisco ISRs out there, but someone's going in and managing them device by device. SD-WAN, we flipped that on its head. We built this horizontally scalable cloud service, centrally managed, centrally monitored, bringing all the statistics upstream, being able to perform analytics in one place. And to be able to do that across 150,000 sites, we think is a really interesting problem that we've had to solve.
So let's start to break down the scale piece. I might buy this idea of Velocloud as a hyperscaler if we can help me kind of get some context around the data points.
Okay.
Let's talk about how much data is coming off one site.
So, one site, it varies. It varies dramatically based on the size of the sites. We have everything from manufacturing sites in China that have 20,000 employees to insurance agents at home that are just one user.
Okay, that's a big range.
But across our 150,000 sites, we have tens of billions of flow records coming in now, every 5 minutes. So we've got a huge amount of data coming in that we're processing, insights into how the application's performing, how the networks are performing around the world. Based on geography, based on applications that users are using, really, really valuable data for us to continue to improve our SD-WAN product.
So I wrote a piece a couple of years ago for Tech Republic where I call SD-WAN a big data problem. If I look at what I'm trying to do on-prem, I just had a customer last week who was trying to do some policy-based routing. They wanted to send voice down one path and regular data down another, and then flip it kind of manually. I'm like, guys, this is so 2015. You really need to look at SD-WAN because it can take that data real time and route packets. I understand the scale of that. The reason why we couldn't do that before was because of CPUs and routers and the algorithms just wasn't there and memory and all of that. SD-WAN solves that on the micro level. Now you're talking about the macro level and billions of flow records. How do you process that much data? I mean, that's a lot. That's hyperscale. That's a lot of data.
Yeah. So there's two different angles to it. Obviously, advances in cloud technology, being able to build horizontally scalable cloud services, doing ML, doing big data analytics, that's an important piece of it. But just like you would have heard if you saw the NSBU keynote this year talking about NSX intelligence, Tom Gillis talked about not just bringing the data to the analytics engine, but also bringing analytics to the data. One of the unique things about VMware SD-WAN is from the beginning, we built this hierarchical model. We have the edge device just like any other, SD-WAN vendor, but we built this network of cloud gateways, thousands of cloud gateways around the world. Not only do they provide us a distributed control plane in the cloud, they build us another layer in our hierarchy. So we have analytics happening on the edge where we see every single packet going through. We have correlation happening at our gateway where a single device is seeing thousands of edges that are connected, and then that data is then sent upstream.
So you guys haven't used the buzzwords, at least talking to me, ML, AI, etc. But this is that traditional model where we have, this huge amount of data injection at the edge. We apply the algorithms at that edge. Any anomalies get, brought up into the central control plane where we do additional processing. So as we learn stuff at the edge, we don't need to send all of that data to the cloud for analysis. We can send a subset there, and then we can perform some additional data mining. If we need more data, you have 150,000 edge points you can get more data from. Is that generally the architecture?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we haven't talked about AI ML in the past. We're going to be talking about it a lot more going forward. The big challenge with analytics and that sort of problem space is that you need the data.
Right.
You can have the best ML algorithms in the world, but if you don't have the data feeding those algorithms, it's not going to work. And so we built the network, we got the customers, we got the data, and now we're taking that to the next wave of innovation, which we believe AI and ML is the future of networking.
So how does that surface up to the end user, the customer? So, VMware has all of this great data on the back end, but what value, what insights can you give the customer based on that information?
Yeah, so customers have already benefited from this, whether they know it or not under the covers. Traditionally, a big problem that customers have had to solve is configuring QoS in the WAN, right?
My blood pressure just like literally my blood pressure just raised when you said QoS, period. Like, and then that just I physically get angry at you. Just so you know, nothing personal against you. It's just the concept of battling QoS over my career.
Right. So that data that we have, for instance, right, we use something called Smart QoS inside Velocloud. We try to do QoS automatically. And if you look at that customer base that we have deployed, 92% of our customers are not configuring any QoS policies on their VMware SD-WAN. They're letting us manage the QoS and provide them with a great experience for all their apps.
So what's the results? Like, are customers leaning into it? Are they calling you and yelling at you from a support perspective? You know what, what looked like FTP traffic is some type of real-time data, and you guys are stepping on it. What's been the results?
I can tell you that the 8% of customers that customize their QoS create more support cases for QoS issues than the 92% that do not and rely on our algorithm.
Yeah, you should have started the whole conversation with that. That is like, in VMware, and I like this point that, Velocloud is kind of integrating nicely with VMware's overall approach. When I deploy vSphere out the box, normally I don't need to do anything other than deploy it. It's pretty well tuned based on VMware's years of experience. So it sounds like Velocloud is continuing that tradition that, you really have to be the exception to want to turn knobs in this solution.
Right, and now we want to extend that beyond QoS, right? So we look at what other problems are our customers calling support with, and how can we build algorithms to detect those problems. So that's not the end user calling in saying there's a problem. The product is telling you there's a problem, and in the best case, the product is fixing the problem for you.
So we'll end one last question on, it's more of an integration question between Velocloud and VMware. Velocloud does SD-WAN, which is the WAN. NSXT is the data center. But when you look at what the two products are trying to achieve, they look very complementary. So we had the NSBU GM on the program a couple of years ago, right, or a year and a half, 2 years ago, right, during the time of the Velocloud acquisition, and we asked the question, hey, when are we going to get integrated SD-WAN and integrated data center? I'm posing the question now to the chief architect for Velocloud. When are we going to get integrated data center and integrated SD-WAN.
So there's obviously points of integration that we're driving. We have vRealize Network Insight giving an overview, that one single pane of glass visibility on what's happening in the data center, what's happening in the branch. We have extended microsegmentation from the DC all the way through the branch, leveraging Velocloud and NSX working together. But at the same time, data center networking and branch networking, they're not the same problem.
They're not the same problem.
In the case of most big companies, they're not even the same team that's managing it. So integration's happening, and there's a lot of natural points of integration, especially around visibility and analytics and being able to pinpoint where the problem is happening. But we're not going to try and, jeopardize the strength of either product line by trying to over-integrate.
So at some point, we'll have you on the future program. We'll please the networking geeks of the show, and we'll have like some deep conversation about the value of EVPN and BGP and bringing that stuff into the data center. I'm kind of over the EVPN concept, but that's my personal opinion. We'll save that for a later debate. Craig, really appreciate you joining the program. If you guys want to find out more, join the conversation. Hashtag CTO Dose on Twitter or on LinkedIn. You can, I'll tag Craig in it. I'm sure you're on LinkedIn. Everyone is. And you'll get a ton of alerts, like people pinging you like, what that question Keith actually was completely unfair. Keith was right on point. If you want to contribute to the conversation, follow the hashtag CTO Dose. Talk to you next CTO Dose.